Thank you very much, and very warm afternoon. I mean, it is warm, so very warm afternoon. In this beautiful hotel, beautiful place called as Goa. It is always a pleasure. Every time you step out of the airport, you just feel so calm coming in here, and it is a delight. Mandeep, thank you for organizing this. You and your team have done a fantastic job. As Mandeep said, is we're look forward to our couple of hours of session here, and then we start tomorrow morning with the Hope Conference. But honestly, this is where the money lies. And this is where the money is. This is where the owners are. And this is where a lot of the decision making happens. So what Mandeep requested me was that if I can, over the next 15, 20 years, talk not about hospitality and talk about what are the other asset classes, how are they performing. Many of them do have an impact on the hospitality, how the developers thinking, where are they making money, what is their prognosis, which asset classes for them are doing well, and that is what I'm going to run you over the next 15 odd minutes through this presentation. Clearly, real estate doing exceptionally well at this moment in time. I've been in this industry for 3 decades. I have not seen something like this where, the stars, sun, moon, earth, truth, everything is aligned. I don't know for how long, given where the stock markets are, but, at this moment in time, clearly everything is aligned. If you look at, how the realty index is performing to the rest of the Sensex, it is, really, really doing exceptionally well at this stage. Let me now get into the asset classes. These are the 4 traditional asset classes on your left that you see. There are newer asset classes that are coming up, on the right-hand side. I'm not going to spend too much time, but I will touch upon some of those asset classes which are on the right-hand side. I'll do a little bit more deeper on what the 3 asset classes other than hospitality on the left-hand side. As I said, is real estate doing exceptionally well. The QIPs that were done in the year 2024, the highest QIPs that were received was in the real estate sector. So you can well imagine it's like a big, big, big thing. I mean, it's an industry where I remember in the mid 90s getting in, all the sort of villains in Bollywood films were developers. You shake hand with a developer and only 4 fingers left. And from there, you've got this beautiful slide where the fundraising amongst all the segments of the Indian economy, real estate has seen the highest. I'm going to come to commercial. This is office sector because many of these hotels are also coming up in these large IT parks. So how are these offices doing it? Again, in 30 years of my history, I have not seen this kind of a leasing activity, what we saw in 2024. In fact, from the time of independence, 2024 was the best ever year that India has seen on the offices. 50 million square feet of net leasing, nearly 80 million square feet of gross leasing that was done. So what you see in the red bar is the leasing. What you see in the green is the absorption. Again, very relevant from our perspective because these are large IT parks. Usually these IT parks are putting in hospitality now within those IT parks. This is the split. Bangalore definitely leads on the office side. Nearly a third of the leasing, what you saw, is coming in from Bangalore, 30%, which is the green. So Bangalore, very vibrant on the leasing side. Very interesting slide when our research team put this together. I was like fascinated. So over the last several years, American companies have taken more space on lease in India than actually Indian companies. I mean, it's a very, very powerful statement. American companies have taken more space on lease in India than Indian corporates have done, and that is what you see in the blue. These are the American corporates who are taking such large spaces compared to Indian corporates. And this is largely coming in from the global capability centers. I mean, we work a lot with many of these companies, largely US corporates. They are looking to set up their capability centers back in India. And interestingly, when we are speaking with these corporates, they are saying we're not coming to India for cost arbitrage. Gone are the days when we came into India for cost arbitrage. We did that call center or a BPO. Now they're talking about software development. They're talking about KPOs. They're talking about R&D That is what they are really talking about. And they're talking about is the talent. So which is what is very heartening is that unlikely we're going to be disrupted that easily. Cost, we got disrupted with Philippines, for example, on the call centers and BPO. Now they're coming in for talent, saying is that the quantity of people that we require, for example, engineers you're seeing on the right-hand side of this slide, and the capability is not available in those numbers in many Western economies. It is no longer just about IT or ITS. What you see in the purple one, that is the software development part. A lot of people think is that, we are only doing software in India. Actually, we're not doing software. You see is banking, financial services is where the blue is, the consulting companies, the manufacturing companies. In fact, majority of the pharmaceutical companies, their research and development is now all being set up in India. They're hiring doctors, they're hiring engineers. Many of these guys, for example, one of the large German auto manufacturer, their latest car designs are happening in Bangalore. They're all outsourced to Bangalore because the quality of automobile engineers that they are able to get it and the numbers that they are able to get is just phenomenal. This is the total, I know it's a very busy slide. We normally don't show this slide given that it was a very private audience. We brought it out. What it shows is in the green, the total stock of office, what is the vacancy in the purple of that particular city, and what is new that is going to come in. All that I'll point into this, as probably more for Sanjay, who's sitting in here, is Hyderabad. I am a little nervous. I know they have a lot of positions that have been taken because there is a lot of new supply coming with a very large vacancy that has been built up. Now, again, it is micro market to micro market dependent, but it is a city that I'm a little bit worried about. But if you look Pune, Bangalore, exceptionally well. Many here, would have heard about offices. It's a bad word, in Europe and in the US. Our research team put this together, 1 billion square feet of empty office space in the US, and yet we are talking is that it was the highest ever absorption in India. That is what they put up. If you were to put as a building, that is how tall it is, and what you see at the bottom, that white line is where Mount Everest would stack up to that building. So there is a huge amount of vacancy in the US, yet in India there is a lot of drive for the offices. Just quickly on the retail side, similar story as offices. The demand continues to remain strong, which is what you're seeing in the red bar. Why on the retail? Again, retail globally on the real estate side is a sector that people don't want to invest. In India, because it is low penetration of retail real estate, plus it is moving from unorganized to organized, you're seeing a lot of demand coming in to this sector. Fair amount of supply coming up. And again, we are seeing with retail, because they're not able to consume the entire FAR or FSI on a plot, they're wanting a hotel to be constructed next to the retail. And that is where you're going to see many of these retail malls having a hotel because they go up to 3 or 4 levels. Yet they have unconsumed FSI, and they believe, and rightfully so, is that it is very integral if you put in a hotel next to the retail. This is just the way that the mall's occupier profile has changed. A lot more F&B now, a lot more entertainment that you're seeing in the yellow and the orange. Again, a lot of people think there is a fair amount of vacancy in these malls. For the purpose of this presentation, we actually split it into grade A, B, and C malls. And if you look at it, A, which is blue, it is low single-digit vacancy. So clearly, malls doing exceptionally well here at this moment in time. It is the yellow one, which is the C, which are really strata titled, that these are small shops sold by the developers, and that is where larger vacancy is coming in. Sorry, I'm just mindful of time, so I'm speaking as quickly. This is the residential sector. Used to be wild west. When I was running JLL, people from overseas would come in and they would say, how is the sector? I mean, it is like really wild. So if I was a developer and you were a home buyer, you had to, on a monthly basis, pay me money towards construction of the building that I, as a developer, was going to deliver to you, it was my choice whether I wanted to use that money to construct that building, or I wanted to buy a fancy car or an aeroplane or go on holidays or buy the next plot of land. You could not ask me a question on that. That is how it was until the government woke up and discovered that there has to be a Real Estate Regulation Act, and that is what they brought in, and there's some semblance that has come in into that. This is how the growth that we have seen is, since COVID 2021, the CAGR has been 34%. Alabi, I must say, is that the 9-month period of this financial year, we're starting to see some dip in the residential. I mean, again, this is the first time that I'm talking openly with an audience, is that we're starting to see some softness starting to happen on the residential. And our prediction is by the end of this financial year, we will be about 11% lower than what it was last year. So FY24 versus FY25, FY25 will be 11% lower. But in the number of units, in terms of the value, we may be higher because there has been an increase in the sale price. So as a result of which, value-wise, we may be 16% higher, but number of unit-wise, we're starting to soften. Bombay, which is the green one, remains nearly 40% of India's total residential real estate market. 40% of the sales for the country in value term comes in from Bombay. A very sad slide to put up here. What it is showing is that affordable housing, which is 40%, is going down. So poor are becoming poor, richer are becoming richer. So 40% has gone down to 16% at the end of the calendar year 2024. On the other hand, if you look at the luxury and ultra luxury, from 9% in 2018 pre-COVID to 31%. 31% that has gone up on luxury. Again, this is where we are starting to see branded residences coming up. A heartening slide that the affordability still is very much there. We've been tracking this affordability index. What it shows is income loan payment divided by income. So EMI divided by income in terms of number of months. The lower the number of months, the more the affordability is. So at this moment in time, it is 38 months, which is where we were in FY 2010. So affordability is pretty much, whilst the prices have gone up, yet because the salaries have gone up, and prior to 2021, the prices for a period of time on residential had not gone up, yet salaries had gone up. So as a result of which, although the prices of real estate went faster than the salaries, yet on a decade basis, it evened out. The inventory overhang, is at its lowest, 14 months. Usually 18 months is an ideal situation. At 14 months means this is favoring the developer. The sizes of the apartments have increased, as we all would have understood. So 34% increase in the size of the apartment pre-COVID to now. The larger listed residential developers are getting more and more share of the market. The consumer is now moving towards a brand, and that is what you're seeing, consolidation happening. This is an interesting slide. The average net debt to equity, developers have just brought down their debt hugely. So the monies that they made on the residential, they have utilized those monies for two things. One, for buying land, and you'll see on the next slide. And the second is to be able to bring down the debt. So even if we were going to go into some kind of a lull phase, I don't hope and I don't wish that we do. But if we were to look at it, how beautifully they have just unlevered themselves over the last 4 or 5 years. This is just showing that how the performance for the year has been in terms of the sales, the guidance that they had given. Other than Prestige and Shobha, everybody is stacking up to the guidance that they had given to the stock market. They yet have a lot of supply. So nearly 253 million square feet, which is under development, out of which they have launched only 73 million square feet. So there's a fair amount of supply yet to come in. This shows the new land parcels. Again, this is where a lot of these hotels are going to come up. These are the new land parcels that have been bought in by the developers across these cities. Private equity continues to remain strong. We believe is that FY 2025 will be about the same as FY 2024. So private equity in real estate. The deals have become a lot more larger, and private equity is willing to write a check of a larger amount on a per deal basis. Just last two slides. This is another sector that is coming up very rapidly, which is the warehousing. This is coming at about the same pace as offices. Two factors that are benefiting this sector: e-commerce, and the second is Make in India. We're genuinely seeing Make in India play out for the industrial sector, where the American corporations are outsourcing the manufacturing plant. They're not shutting down China. It is their third or fourth plant where they're saying China plus one. And that plus one, India is benefiting like any other, some of the other Asian economies. And lastly, this is a big sector, data centers. And this is where the Indian government came out with a policy that if anyone has an Indian's data that is stored and they are operating in India, then you can't store that data on sheep farm in Ireland. You have to bring it to India. And that is what the data center proposition has really got built up with a ton of money that has gone into this sector. Thank you very much. I'm absolutely on time.